Hello, my name is Fatoumata Conde and I am the Communications Director for the Guinea Pavilion at Expo 2020 in Dubai. The Republic of Guinea is a country located on the West African coast, and we are quite famous for different cultural heritage, especially when it comes to woodworking. So we are very excited here at Expo to be able to showcase that and to share our culture and our heritage with the world. So one of the exciting things we decided is to actually start the visitor experience from outside the pavilion. So right in front of the main doors of our pavilion, we actually decided to display some artwork that was brought all the way from Guinea specifically for the Expo. So you have here, for example, a very famous symbol of Guinea. It's called the Nimba. The Nimba is a fertility goddess from the Baga people, which are a people who are native to Guinea and who live just on the coastline. The reason why we decided to bring a Nimba, it's not only the symbol for our country, but it's also a statue that brings fertility, happiness, good health, good luck to people. So we invite all the visitors to come here and to also sit on this magnificent throne that was also made in Guinea, to just sit on the throne of prosperity and to make a wish. And hopefully the wishes do come true, because that's really also our hope. We don't want people to just come and look at the art. We also want them to engage, to learn the culture, and to become a part of it. So this is a Nimba statue, and you also have the throne of prosperity. So what's really interesting about the Nimba is that originally it's actually a mask, and it's used during the ceremonies, whether it's for weddings, for also when a child is born, but mostly traditionally it was used also when crops were being sown, and it was in the hopes that the crops would be bountiful and successful. So this is why until today, for centuries, this has been really a symbol for prosperity, for luck, for health, for fertility in Guinea. So this magnificent throne that was made also especially for Expo, we decided to pair it up with the Nimba in order for people to also have a way to engage with the different art pieces that are on the pavilion. So this is one, we call it the throne of prosperity, when people can come and sit and also, of course, admire the intricate work of the woodworkers from Guinea. This was all made by specific artisans in Guinea for the Expo, and it was completely hand-carved and handmade. Guinea is a West African country located right on the Atlantic coast. We have a very specific geostrategic advantage, as we like to say it, because we have 300 kilometers of coastline right on the Atlantic Ocean, but we're also very lucky to share 6 land borders with neighboring countries. So here on this map, we decided to represent all the different major rivers that take their source in Guinea, but bring water to the entire West African region. So as we like to say, we are responsible for the water access of over 130 million people. So if Guinea doesn't take care of the different waterways, then the whole West African region will go dry. So speaking with that idea of the country being the source, then the whole pavilion is really a showcase about how we are the source in terms of water access, but also how Guinea has been a pioneering nation that has inspired the culture of the entire West African region. So this is what the whole pavilion is dedicated to. In one of the local languages of Guinea, which is Susu, Guinea means woman. So our country's name is woman. So one thing we really wanted to showcase here on the pavilion as well is all the pioneering women who have also helped shape the culture and the history. For example, the first African woman pilot was from Guinea, and she was chosen by our first president to be his personal helicopter driver. So that's to show you that Guinean women have always played a very strong role in the country's development. So we then move on to talk about more of the cultural impact that Guinea has had on the whole West Africa. And especially we decided to dedicate the whole section of the pavilion to music, because music is very important to us. For example, here we talk about the sosobala, which is the first ever balafon. The balafon is an instrument very famous in the whole West African region, and the first ever one was actually made in Guinea 800 years ago, and it's still existing today. It's in a small village called Niagasola in Upper Guinea. And to this day, it still serves as the inspiration for any balafon that's being made today, 800 years on. And we also have here what we call our very own cinema room, where people can come in, take a seat, take a breather, and look at some beautiful landscapes of Guinea to just give people a little glimpse and feel as if they were also in Guinea. Then moving on here, you have the 2 main sections of the pavilion. This first one is really a dedicated showcase to the diversity of the country. So here you have a little snapshot of how the country is shaped, all the way from the ocean to the plains, all the way to the mountains, especially with Mount Nimba, that is the highest point of the entire West African region. Guinea, what's interesting, it's a very diverse country, and in one country you have so many beautiful landscapes that are so diverse. That's something we really wanted to showcase on the pavilion. So we have, for example, here this section where we showcase some art, again from the Baga people, so from the coastal region of Guinea. And it's really the prime example about how humans and nature have lived together and how it has given birth to wonderful art. So you have, for example, here Yombo Fissa, which is also a Baga deity, which is what you would call in some other African countries Mami Wata, also what you would call in some Western countries a mermaid. So it's a woman that's half fish, half woman, and she protects the ocean. There is this legend saying that she protects the ocean, so if people pollute the ocean, then she curses them. So from back then, you can already see how from centuries ago, there was always this idea of how do we live in harmony with the nature. So that's something that was taught to children very early on through these sculptures to teach them better practices and to live in better harmony with their nature. Here you also have some other Baga deities that are represented here. For example, this is the Tonkomba. As you can see, it's also a carved wood, but it's in the shape of a turtle. So you can see a lot of the deities were actually based on nature and the animals that were in their surroundings and how it then mixed in with their beliefs to then be considered as deities. So this one is the turtle. You also have here the banda, which is also a mask. It was inspired by a mix between a crocodile and an antelope. This is why it has the horns. And the last one that you have here, it's also inspired by a snake, so we call it the Baga snake. So this whole section of the pavilion talks about how all those mythical beliefs have really given birth to a real strong of the importance of sustainability. Sustainability is not a new concept. It's a concept that has been lived with communities for centuries, and we just need to find a way to get better harmony as our ancestors did back then and to apply it to today's world and today's realities. So that's something that we really wanted also visitors to reflect upon on the pavilion. So here you have also some beautiful artwork that was also done by the coastal people, the Baga people of Guinea. And the reason why we decided to include them is to really show the way that globalization and cultural mixing has been happening for centuries. They had animals that were from their own environment, turtles, crocodiles, snakes, and then you start seeing pelicans. Pelicans are actually not native to Guinea, but the legend says that they came in following the boats of the Westerners that came from Europe, and that's how they arrived to Western Africa. And this is represented in the art. So you can see how the culture mixing happened in the art through the representation of some more Westerner animals, such as pelicans. So it really shows how, even back then, you could see the culture mixing and how it gave birth to some wonderful art. Then we arrive also at the very heart of the pavilion. The waterfall is actually in the shape of the Lady of Mali, which is a famous touristic landmark in Guinea. And we decided to represent her as a waterfall because, of course, we're on the thematic of water. And then we move on to the last parts of the pavilion. We decided to have a small space for children because we also want them to be more impacted about the pavilion and learn better habits. We also have some that talk about the importance of protecting the forest, etc. So it's different cartoons for children to come in, to listen to the stories, to look at the cartoons, to, on one hand, learn more about Guinean culture, but on the other hand, also learn more about how to better preserve the environment. This is our co-creation space. It's a space where you can see we represented, of course, the Nimba, but also some other Guinean masks. And we encourage visitors to come in after they have experienced the pavilion, to then learn more about Guinean culture, to come and discuss with us, so we can see how they can also become part of our sustainable development journey by proposing some interesting solutions. And the last two sections of the pavilion. So here you have some wonderful products that all came from Guinea and that were produced by Guinean creators for the Expo. There are definitely challenges that the country is facing. Obviously, we are still a developing nation. This is why we are really hoping to get partners to help us fulfill our goals. We have set ourselves with very ambitious sustainability development goals, and this is why we really want to participate in Expo and make it a success by getting partners to really help us to overcome these challenges and to fulfill our different ambitions.